some young people go through the care system and they have a good experience, maybe in a foster placement, a really nice foster placement, and they become part of the family and they actually stay on after post 18. Other young people don't, and it can be for a number of reasons. It can be for they just don't gel with whoever it is that's caring for them, if it's a foster carer, as for instance, or they've been traumatised by what the experiences they've had prior to coming into care that can make them present with behaviours that a lot of people find unacceptable. A lot of the young people, it's almost expected of them. 18, there you go, there's a flat, and it fails. It's a programme of units that we give to, if they're in foster care, supported lodgings, or in residential as well. And it's a programme that they can work through, and there's different, as I say, there's different units in it, and it covers budgeting, life skills, cooking, the whole ream of it. And a lot of the housing offices now in Staffordshire are insisting that this has been completed by the young person before they will allocate.
Yeah.
Which is good, but as I've said, it's my view that even after that, a lot of these young people at 18, they're just simply not ready to live on their own. They're not because they're not capable, but because they've not been given the tools. And they've been cosseted for so long, if they've been in the care system for quite a while, that they expect to have a clothing allowance every month and all the rest. Then all of a sudden expecting them to manage on £61 a week. I personally have had a few that have ended up in eviction, which creates a whole different ball game of nightmares, because they then can't go back to that housing office and say, look, I've messed up, can I have another try? Because they'll just say no. If I can use one young person as an example that I have worked with, he was on the streets twice.
Yeah.
Now, he was a very clean living young man. He had a beautiful flat. He gave the flat up to move closer to work. Mm-hmm. He ended up renting a room off someone. He'd got a full-time job. Something happened at work, he lost his job. He told his landlady on the Friday that he lost his job. Her response was, okay, no problem, you've got till the end of the weekend to get out.
Man, there's no compassion.
No, but this was it. And this is why it'd be better for these young people to go into somewhere where there's shared accommodation, where there's people that can give them the right guidance, and prep them for that move then on into their own place.
When they come out of care, straight from care, as soon as they reach 18, everything's cut. Now, coming from care, if you come in, for example, at 10, or you come in at even 13, 14, you're going to get used to being supported all the time. You're going to get used to people washing, cleaning, doing everything for you. And then when you reach 18, for all that to just be taken from you, that's a traumatizing experience in itself.
Yeah.
So if you haven't got no support and a support mechanism from that point on, you do not really know, unless you've been astute in your care sector that you've been in, or the home that you've been in have helped you learn independence. You do not know independence.
Yeah.
So the only thing you're going to do is look to feed yourself, look to get paid, and the easiest thing in that is crime.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way they're going to know how to go and get money, either steal, rob. They're going to mix up with the wrong people. Yeah, so in that statistic, and then after that, they'll end up in jail, and then they will consistently go back to jail, because in jail then becomes like being in the care sector.
Yes.
Because you're getting supported, you're getting your meals cooked for you, you're getting all your clothes washed, and you've got somewhere to sleep, a bed for the night that you don't need to worry about.
Yeah.
So that then transfers from that to being that, and that's why they end up constantly in jail and going back, because that's all they know.
Like the constraints of our country, it's like, why do you have to be 18 and know what you're having to do? Of course they're not going to be ready
Yeah.
to really understand what life is about, because they already think this obviously is as hard as it's going to get. Like, there's nothing worse than being in care, not having a family.
Yeah.
And then as an adult, you've got to fend for yourself again. I just think, like, it's common sense in it. Of course they're not going to know
Yeah.
what they're doing. I've worked with a girl that's been in care since she was 3.
Yeah.
She's had like 18 placements. So how is she ever meant to learn the basics of life when she can't even sustain the same placement?
Yeah.
Because so many children, so many young people, so many adults, even people like myself, find it difficult to access help. Not just accessing help as well, accessing help discreetly, because some people don't want to share this sort of personal stuff with just random people. So at the moment, you get tossed around from one place to the other, and then someone is saying, oh, do you think you've got mental? Oh, use this support. That support moves you on to another support. They actually are exacerbating your mental health.
Yeah, it's like it gets overwhelming for you and you don't want to
Absolutely.
seek the help.
Absolutely. So it's very difficult now for people to actually put themselves forward to seek for help. It shouldn't be like that. The help should be there, ready, available for when you need it, at the point of need as well. For example, my community, especially the men, wouldn't come forward to, technically would not be coming forward and discussing their mental health situation with anybody. And it's not just the men, the women as well. There's so much stigma. We need a lot of education as well.
Obviously, everyone knows that the brain develops at 25. So that's when you start like realising, actually those choices that are made before probably weren't the right choices. So you're expecting people up to the age of 25 to just figure out what they're doing. And then when they need the help, it's like, have you really got the funding to go out and buy yourself a psychologist if you've been in care?
Yeah.
Obviously you don't. So it's like they don't even understand what help is out there because they've not even been educated on what help is. So then, like I said, you're in like a recurring cycle.
Mental support, do you know what I mean? Just being spoken to, because a lot of kids, a lot of the problem is they don't actually get spoken to. They're just seen and not heard. They don't show that because it's a stigma to show certain feelings. But when you speak to them, and you speak to them in a certain way, which they understand and you can understand, then they actually let off a lot more than you would expect them to.
Yeah.
They just want to be heard.
Yeah.
If they can put across what they want and what they like to somebody that they think that is actually going to be interested,
Yeah.
that in itself makes a big difference.
Part of the things I think I would want to see is trainings on cultural competence for the specialists and the staff who work across the care system. They need to understand that culturally people have different needs. Culturally people have, so that young person in the system can't even hear his or her name pronounced properly.
A majority of the time, I think there's a stigma with black culture to ask for the help.
Black kids usually being in care in England, we are a predominantly white country. So you will majority be put in a home with white carers. Obviously, to be fair, the care system, you're meant to actually be put in a home that matches your identity. So they're actually meant to source placements that relate back to you. But because there's not enough care homes and there's not enough care, you're putting them in caravans in Liverpool. What's a black kid going to do in a caravan in Liverpool?
Exactly.
With white carers. They're not going to be learning anything.
Art, straight away, is a very expressive thing. From somebody that's really good at it to somebody that's just going to throw paint at a piece of paper. It's a way of expressing yourself. And quite often, young people, they can express themselves better by doing something like that, or poetry, just something more artistic, than actually sitting down with a PA, a social worker, whatever, and having a one-to-one conversation. They find that difficult. Whereas through artwork, and especially things like Children of a Revolution, the workshops, I think it'll be good. I think it'll open up a lot of doors for these young people.
With art, there's all kind of different types of art, but you can express yourself without it being stigmatized.
Helps me a lot, to be fair. Like, I've got no life without art, you know what I mean? It helps me a lot with my mental health as well. And with the stuff I'm doing for the expedition, I'm probably, it's basically inspiring the kids, and like the main piece is like, well, it's like all relevance to children in this day and age, and the Wonder Boy is basically based on like hidden talents, and then like you've got like the space helmet is like kind of a kid that's hidden, but on top of it is like there's loads of like toys. And I remember I was sitting in hospital, and there was a girl next to me with no arms and legs, so I was just like, Mum, I remember Mum looking at and going, you could be worse off here, you know what I mean? I was like, you've hit jackpot from like the amount of stuff that's wrong with you. And that piece kind of reflects that, because inside you've got all this negativity, and then outside there's like beauty, you know, like the gaming you want to do. If you want to draw, you can draw, or the passion you want to perceive, like magic, or like that kind of get swept away for a few hours, or like that's why I draw so much, because you turn into like this superhero, and you're just in your own little mind, and you're like, forget everyone else, I don't care, I'm just gonna draw, and I'm onto something big here, and you know what I mean. And sometimes you are, sometimes you ain't, but I finish a piece and I'm just like, yeah, on to the next one now, I want to feel better again. It's strange like how it works. It's the same with everything now, like all the like negativity around, and then you just go into your own little bubble. It's just unreal. Like there's no better feeling really.
As soon as you help children with their development, you'll just get better adults. Like there's just no other way to like think about it.